Hello, this is going to be a Phoenix guide on Bind. We're going to go over some basic parts first of Phoenix. So the first part of Phoenix to understand is that he wants orbs as much as possible. So playing him in places that can get orbs fairly reliably is a good way to play him. His ult is his strongest ability, so you want to be taking the most orbs to make the most use out of that throughout the game. And the other thing about Phoenix is that you want to be using his Blaze Wall and his Molly as the utility they're intended to be, rather than the healing devices that I see lots of people use them as. So if you want to use your wall, you want to be thinking about how does the wall affect why I play, like what can I wall off to get me into a site or something, rather than a way to heal. So with that in mind, we're going to be talking about every single site, like how to attack it and how to defend it. And we're going to start with defense first at B. So this is where I usually play. I say usually play. I don't really play Phoenix as much anymore. This is like how I originally got Immortal back in episode 1, Act 1. I was playing Phoenix and Sova, and whenever I got Bind, I would play Phoenix. And I would do this strategy fairly well. And obviously, the game's evolved a lot since then, so this doesn't really work as much versus higher elo players. But honestly, anything below Immortal. Even in Immortal, this can work as well, because lots of people don't understand how they came to play to this still, somehow. But what I would do is I would just place the wall like this and take the orb at the start of every round. And that would give me an orb free every round. Sometimes I do get spam for it, for taking the orb. But usually, most of the time, people don't actually know how to counter this strat. And I'm going to show you how to counter it real quick. Just to make sure that you're aware. That you can be countered like this. So all you have to do is, you can see when I put the wall up, the orb is going to be right here. And the reason why I can tell you this, see, and it drops. Okay, look, I'm right above the orb, right? So I knew exactly where the orb was because I used this flower to tell me where it was, right? So it's just to the left and you go down. So all you have to do is just spam like a sort of a range between the end of this flower and sort of like about here, which is like level with this, right? And that should basically get anyone that's taking the orb. So like give or take, maybe they're like a bit more to the left, a bit more to the right. So you want to be aiming like about here, right? And that should get anyone taking the orb. And that goes for any smoke that's placed. So if someone places a brim smoke here right in front of you, as long as you can see this area, you should be able to spam the orb fairly reliably if you hear them tap it. Okay, so the next thing that I sort of do on long as well. So past this, and once I take the orb, I also have an option to flash through the wall like this. I can take a fight on anyone maybe trying to punish me. Also, a way to mix this up as well is that if you don't take the orb first and you actually just straight up flash, and you can catch someone that's trying to spam you with it straight into a flash into a free kill, and just kind of punish someone that's trying to spam you. So I would take those, like there's two sort of plays you have in mind and that you can play out from long. And once like the sort of the point of this has been achieved, right, I'll play ult from 2 spots on defense. And the first spot is actually here, is right here, right? So I'll wait about 10 seconds. I might even blaze wall this at the start to keep it consistent against my enemy, and to to show them like, you know, this is what the main play I'm going to do every round, and to sort of like mix it up on them if I don't do it later on in the game or something. So keeping that sort of consistent, I might wait 10 seconds straight up anyway, and to see if I can hear anyone coming close to me on long, and then I'll ult. And then if someone's close, I heard them, then I'll probably chase them down on long. If I think there's if there's noise hookah as well, then I might also decide to go down long, and try and fight someone maybe outside hookah on short. If that's not the case, and there's like some movement A, or people are fighting showers, then we're gonna ult here. And go through the portal, and trying to fight people either showers or going into A short. You also do have enough time that if you don't find anyone in showers or in showers straight away, you can actually run all the way to fight someone in this sort of line. I'll show that now. You do need to have your knife out for the majority of it though. You can get your gun out here, check all this, and then you need to put your knife out again, and then you can see this line for a couple seconds before you go back. So it's not the best ult possible, but especially for but it's really good if someone's fighting showers. If you get like early information, like in the first like 5 seconds, someone's fighting showers, screw the 10 seconds that you're meant to wait, and you can do this now. Bear in mind that if someone is walking up short, or walking up long, there is no counterplay you have basically. If someone's fighting Showers, you know, if they've done like a default, if they know they've ulted from there and took the portal, then your ult's probably dead. You may want to ask your teammate to defend you this round, right? That's basically it for B long. So from hookah, we're gonna just do like this like one flash that I usually do, which is this one. That's basically straightforward. Do that from the start of the round. And you can also do a wall to try and like cross here, walk around, and then flash from this side if you want to, but bear in mind that's fairly obvious. You may have noticed that I haven't used any mollies yet, and that's because the mollies are fairly useless up until this point, unless you know they're in like a particular corner. So if they do get further in, so further in would mean like in these sort of areas, so hookah and garden, I might end up playing backside or elbow, probably elbow, mainly because this wall stops anyone from long, so I'm coming out fairly freely, and you can always flash through this if you think they're pushed up close. Also, if you think that someone's like close hookah, you can also do this for potentially a teammate, to spam, to spam them if they're like in this corner. I had to move or something. Bear in mind that you're probably smoked off here, so you have to like use like the top of the hookah to really know where you're aiming it. And that's basically it for B. If they do try and plant, and you're close to them, you can like, you know, try and find a way to molly them. I don't have any lineups for Phoenix. Like I said, I haven't played him fairly recently. There's probably tons of lineups you can find on the internet that correspond to what you want to do. However, you can get away with no lineups with Phoenix, especially because his molly is fairly short range. Like, you're not gonna get too much from it. I mean, that one's not bad if you can get it further, which you probably can. I think I used to do one similar. It's not bad. It's close. You can get one like lined up to there. It's pretty good. Okay, so we're gonna go into A. Okay, so we're on A. So this is well, I usually don't play A a huge amount, and this is basically the only time I ever play A is going to be if I'm mixing it up in the rounds. And I'm going to be playing from this angle sometimes. With mainly if I had like a judge or something, I would play. It's not what I meant to press. Usually I would play here with a judge or something, and then when they start to come out, I'll flash and basically run forward, pressing left click the judge. Usually I get 1 or 2 kills. You also have the option to wall this as well, and it makes it really hard for them to really want to come out on site, because it's a very annoying wall to deal with. Especially because if you know, you should kind of like play away from the gap you've created, because you can see you've made like a little gap. There's a little gap here. You can actually play with this gap, but as you can see, sometimes it obstructs your vision, sometimes it doesn't. It's very RNG. So I wouldn't do this. I would just sit away from the wall slightly, and wait for someone to like come across. It's similar to how you would play like an Astra ult, or a Viper wall. Probably more closely related to Blaze. Is it called Blaze? I think it's called Blaze, right? Yeah, Blaze. Okay, I got it right. That's crazy. And that's basically it from this area. You can also, if they get further onto site and plant, you can molly from this angle. I'm pretty sure there is a molly that will fall properly. Probably against this back wall. You just aim it up a bit. No, it actually went to the same place. Probably have to aim it like here, I guess, or something. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. They're fairly easy to free throw, so I recommend just, you know, you don't have to learn things particularly. They're fairly easy to free throw. You can probably free throw it off this as well. Yeah, basically. Actually, I think that worked, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Okay. Okay, so this is the second area I usually play. So this is like the main area I would play on A if I was forced to play A. And the reason being is because the orb exists here, and I want to be getting orbs like Phoenix wants to. And I would just walk up to this area, and what you can do is you can actually safely take the orb aside from this little point, right? So all you have to do is blaze this, and just take the orb. And the odds are like they won't actually shoot you. Because I'll be kind of spamming this sort of area. They won't be spamming on this far right side. Most of the time, at least in my experience. You can also just walk up and flash. But bear in mind that if someone's there, they're going to tuck into this box. And at this point, you can do 2 things. You can either just back up. You can blaze wall and take the orb. Or you can blaze wall and walk up like this. And they probably won't expect this after being them seeing you. And you can sort of use this angle at first. Because you know, it's basically a one-way. They won't see you very easily past the blaze wall. And then when it drops, you can like walk up on this person, and try and like catch like a close angle by surprise on them. So an ult I would do as well is this. So I would either run up short, But if I've asked someone to like watch my body or watch my like Phoenix ult, then I would also take the teleporter sometimes. Kind of depends on what the enemy team like to do. And I would fight them outside hookah. And this would be really good, really powerful if I've already done this ult a couple times, or maybe once or twice, because then they would think it's B long, and they would start running this way if there's someone B long or this way. And sometimes you can catch someone off guard, like running away from short or something. After using your ult here, you may even see someone like sort of like go aggressive here, and you can start fighting them here. But yeah, you're gonna get decent fights with the run it back from this angle, especially if you've already used one B. And then we'll go into attack. Okay, so on attack, we're gonna start off with A, I think. We're just gonna go through the 4 main places for bind. So personally, I don't like showers at all, even though you do get the orb. You do need someone to be clearing with you because his utility isn't great for taking showers. This doorway is fairly narrow, so it's very hard to get a good flash with Phoenix from so like far away. He's short. He's got too short range of a flash. With like KO or Sky, you can put the flash through here, and you can sort of get a lot more area with the flash. You can get like all this. You can get all this. But with Phoenix, he kind of gets a very short sort of like cone or like line, because he's detonating the flash outside the doorway. So he never really gets a massive flash. But Sky and KO and maybe like Omen, it can get way better flashes than Phoenix can in this area. So for that reason, I kind of like to have someone with me if I can show us. Ideally one of those people with good flashes for this area. And then I would take the orb and sort of play it out from there. I do have a decent flash for this angle, as it will flash most people. You don't want to do it that deep. You want to do it kind of like this, because then it will flash someone sort of like in this sort of corner. You're going to be kind of shallow with the flash. And then also you have a good flash outside this as well, to sort of take close area. And on attack, bear in mind that your ult is pretty much good no matter where you're attacking from, because your ult is really strong for attacking, basically. You can basically take it. You can get like a free trade, so you get traded, and then the teammate trades you back. So then it didn't cost you anything. You got the first kill on the round. Your team did, or you can just use it to get a kill, take a fight that would be very risky normally, and maybe you'll convert the kill, and maybe you don't and get traded. So either way, it's like fairly risk free to then take fights with your ult. No matter where you go as attack. If I'm attacking through a short, I like to do this molly, which is pretty much the only lineup in this whole video, I think. So you just do this. This is the molly I usually go with. I usually used to do. It should hit this. It does say if I crouch for some reason. That will hit everything in the little cubby. It's honestly not a great molly because not many people play that name. But yeah, that's kind of it for the molly. And what I would do is at the start of the round, you would just do this normally. You might want to flash it if they're playing these angles or this. You can also play on this side and flash someone on top of truck by doing sort of like a shallow molly like this. Shallow sort of flash like this. And then if I'm like lurking up, because Phoenix is pretty good at lurking on attack especially. And things like, actually I didn't really mention on defense, right? You're going to be against a chamber, so you can do this to like sneak past chamber traps. So on defense you can always flank because you have blaze, and it's sort of similar to that on attack. You can do something like this, and you can sort of sneak past anyone watching this area. Bear in mind, obviously it's very obvious that you could be in this position, and there could even be people in lamps, so you may want to be a bit careful using this. But it does give you options if you do it like multiple rounds. So if you do this like 2 or 3 rounds and then one round you decide to flash through, like it shows that like you can like mix up like against them a bit, and sometimes they might cut off guard by it. So if you do this wall like 3 times but you don't flash through, and then the 4th time you decide to flash through, they might not be ready for it and you get a free kill because of it. Similarly, if you do something like this and you flash through every single time, they might not be ready for you to just walk up without flashing, because they expect to flash, and maybe they think that you didn't even commit here, especially if your teammate is like showing presence in B. You may have get a free lurk by walking up through. And that's basically it for A. Sometimes if I haven't used my blaze wall to get onto site, we already have sight. Then I'm gonna like run into lamps. I'll probably usually flash lamps to clear, to try and clear it. Sometimes you know, sometimes it'll be clear, sometimes it won't. But if I still have my wall and I know they're coming from CT, I like to do this little wall too. And it's like very hard for them to play if I know that they're about to come out. Then I can use this wall and sort of hold it like this. It's very hard for them to come out. Yeah, that's basically it for A. So I don't usually go hookah, but if I do go hookah, I'm going to be using flashes to try and clear. Usually I won't flash until this angle, and I'll do it fairly like deep into the corridor, so quite far away, to make sure that I'm not getting like swung by a shotgun instantly after flashing. Okay. And then I usually use my blaze wall to like kind of split the sight sometimes. So sometimes I'll do it like this, to block off this. And bear in mind that someone can be in these corners, so you want to be very cautious of those corners. And that's kind of the reason why I don't come out hookah very often, is because my blaze wall is kind of bad here. And bear in mind that I don't have to use it coming out of hookah, but it's very strong too sometimes to have like that extra smoke on your team. And if you haven't used it, say if you came out hookah, you don't want to use blaze wall, you can use it like this later on in the round on the retake, to sort of like add an additional smoke to the team, which is very impactful. But if I do come out B, or sorry, B long, then I'm going to be not using a flash up until I actually get close like this. I'm going to be just clearing this normally. Maybe we'll have like a flash or a silver dart or something, or a KO knife or something. And this will usually be smoked by this point, and I can flash out of it. I can also do a blaze wall like this, which will get rid of elbow, and you can come out onto site. Bear in mind, there could be someone in this corner that you actually obscure from your team. So you would be careful using this wall. One wall I prefer is this wall, because it actually separates you the part of the site, and I can actually clear things like this. I can start sort of like lurking into elbow, sort of clearing elbow for my team. And even then, like similar to the one over here where you would like walk into lamps, you can do the same here, where you can just sort of walk into elbow. The other thing you can do, similar to A as well, is you can do this wall and then you can also flash through. And bear in mind that you are probably going to be flashing teammates, because this wall doesn't really like work that way like it does on the A wall. So you probably are flashing teammates by doing this, but you know, it may be fun. Also, if you've cleared all this and you've cleared elbow a bit, you can also flash like this, which is actually not going to flash your teammates. It will go behind this wall, and it will actually flash people coming through CT, and it'll flash people mid tube. So yeah, that's basically it for Phoenix. He hasn't got a whole lot to do. It's a fairly quick video I think I've done, which is nice, because usually my videos go on forever. I don't think I missed too much. Yeah, that's the end of the video. If you liked it, then please leave a like. If you want to see more, then subscribe. And yeah, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.